Many people, including yourself, may suffer from imposter syndrome, limiting beliefs, you know, kind of hiding in the background because you don't want to be seen. You don't want to step out there and put yourself out there. Something's holding you back. Something's holding you back to grow your business because you are, whether it's fear of success, fear of failure, whatever it might be. Many people hide and don't put themselves out there for the fear of something. In today's episode, we sit down with the amazing Lucas Mattiello, founder of Level Up Living. I want you to hear his story on how he has overcome or has worked to overcome his anxiety, putting himself out there, and what he does for his clients in helping them level up their leadership through building their confidence, through speaking, through putting themselves out there. Grab your pad of paper and pen. There are so many golden nuggets. Enjoy this episode. Hi, I'm Marshall Stern, and I've spent over 35 years leading and growing multiple small businesses. I know firsthand the struggles of entrepreneurship, feeling isolated, lonely, overwhelmed, and feeling like you have to do it all by yourself. I've been through multiple recessions, and I have felt the highs and the lows. I've been there, and I get it. This podcast is here to change that. Every week, I will bring you straight talking advice, real world strategies, and honest conversations about what it takes to succeed in business without the fluff, the gimmicks, or the sugarcoating. If you're ready to stop spinning your wheels and start making real progress, then you are in the right place. This is the Stern Truth. All right, welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Stern Truth Business Unfiltered. I would like to introduce you to the other person on the screen or on the other side of the microphone, to Lucas. How are you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you for having me on the show, Marshall. Excited.
I am as well. And hey, we were talking before we got on here. It is sunny today where we are, which is always a good day.
Absolutely.
All right. So, Level Up Living. Tell us a little bit about Lucas and Level Up Living, what you do.
Yeah, so Level Up Living is my organization, my company there that we've been in business now for about 15 years and just helping leaders and entrepreneurs to speak up, share their message, and do it with more confidence.
Tell us a little bit more. How do you do that?
How I do this, it's through in-person training and events,
Okay.
and that's the big key. But I think the one thing that I'm seeing more and more of is a 2-day experience is good, and then there's the integration after, and I think that's a big key that separates. So it's not just the 2-day training; it's also how do you follow through to actually have these skills be implemented and make it a long-term habit.
So this is primarily, you said, like leaders and business owners. Who would be a type of example of someone that you would work with?
Examples from a demographic standpoint, I find typically 30 to about late 50s, and it's either people in leadership positions or that are on a potential leadership journey. So I find that for corporate, it's either they're vying for the promotion or they got the promotion and now they have this expectation that they're confident speakers, and then that's where they're like, I wasn't expecting this, and there's pressure, and that's where we can help them improve their delivery.
So is the goal, I'm just going to put like, I know nothing, right?
Yes.
I know nothing. Is the goal then, if you were to work with, let's say I would work with you, is it for me to be able to deliver what I have to say as a speaker, or a trainer, or in meetings and presentations, that sort of thing, deliver just more powerful presentations? And
Yeah, that's a great question, Marshall. And oftentimes I find that with the name, speak with confidence, people typically think that it's for presentations only. And that's where they'll say, well, I don't have a talk coming up, so it's not of use right now. And that's a very fair argument if it was just for conference speaking. But we look at it more as a holistic communication tool. So whether it's you're leading a meeting, whether it's you're speaking up at these meetings, whether you're talking to your team, talking to clients, you have to communicate and put yourself out there, and you are judged on that every time you do.
Interesting. Okay. Gotcha. So it's more about building the confidence to be able to to level up.
As as the name would suggest, absolutely. Take it to the next level.
Okay. So the question I have is why? Why did you start this business?
That is a great question. And oftentimes people have this was my dream, or it's something I've always looked for. But with this type of training, it's very interesting. There's no bachelor's of public speaking training program at a university. So there was no real path to get into it. And it just started through, I mean, a couple things through my own personal journey with panic attacks and anxiety. I went through a whole period of time where that was a dominant theme of my life, and then went through a recovery period. And part of that was actually to go and start speaking about our stories to
Hmm.
destigmatize mental health. And that prompted the journey where I would have people in the audience say, I struggle too, and I'd like to share my story and get the confidence. Would you be able to help me? And that's really how it started.
Wow. Okay. Okay. So I love that because one of the things that we talk a lot about and I work with my clients is the why,
Hmm.
right? And we just talked about this in a event that I run monthly just a couple hours ago. The Simon Sinek thing. People don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it.
Right.
So you have a strong why.
Absolutely.
Like it's personal. Has that helped you through, I mean, I'm going to assume, correct me if I'm wrong, that and if you're listening to this, you won't, okay, pretend because this could be on, you might be watching this on YouTube or the graph, right? I'm going to assume that your entrepreneurial journey has not been a straight line upwards.
Absolutely not.
So has this helped you through like being really connected to this why? Has that helped you? Do you think it's helped you through the 15 years of Level Up?
Absolutely. It's helped me in a couple ways. Number one, I think I feel like professionally too. It's interesting too, even with your whole topic here of the show, it's about being honest and authentic. And what I encountered when I was starting off, I was doing a lot of stress management training and getting started with this, and even the topic of overcoming speaking nerves. And I would go to different corporations, and it was interesting because it was polarizing because they would ask me about my background. And they would either say, I'd talk to HR and they'd say, what's your clinical background? And I'd say zero. But then it's more from a lived experience angle. And it was interesting to see that just the reaction. It was really 50-50. Half were saying if it's not clinical, there's no credibility there and
Hmm.
it won't land with our people. And the other half were saying lived experience, this is so much more powerful than a textbook. This is a perfect fit. And so it was very interesting. So to the why, it's you're sharing real experiences.
Well, and honestly, like I find, like if you look at the most influential thought leaders out there, they don't have university degrees, or they don't have university degrees in whatever they're talking about. Um, they're self-taught, self-made. You
Mhm.
think about people like the Tony Robbins. Now he's done a lot of training for sure.
Sure.
Okay, NLP and so much other, and his own research, but it's his life lived. Les Brown,
Hmm.
right? Even I'm going to go totally away from that to someone like Steve Harvey, who's a comic and a game show host and a talk show host. He's done like everything, but he also does, if people don't know him, just YouTube him. I mean, he does inspirational talks all the time, and it's not based on what he learned in university. I'm assuming he didn't go to university. It's about living out of a car
Right.
and right trying to make it and being completely broke and overcoming that. So one of the things we talk about on this, and I'm jumping to the good stuff,
Good, good.
delivering the gold nuggets. What would you say to one of your pieces of your gold nuggets, your pieces of wisdom to people listening to this who are, I find a lot of people, okay, not backstory, but a little bit of context to this. I see a lot of business owners and I meet with a lot of them in my coaching through Facebook groups who are hesitant. They're wondering why they're not hesitant. They don't know they're hesitant necessarily. They're wondering
Mhm.
why their business hasn't grown to where they need to grow. When we dig down deeper, they're not putting themselves out there. They're not leveling up, right? What are some tips or strategies that you can give to them?
Yeah, so I mean, if they're not putting themselves out there, we got to look at it. And I speak often in generalities because everyone's situation, their background, their lived experiences are radically different. So I can only speak to generally what I see. But one of the biggest obstacles for somebody to that's hesitating from putting themselves out there would be a fear of not being liked by others or a
Hmm.
desire to be liked by everyone, which is very counterproductive. Just like yourself, I mean, you're doing the show, which is a major win. because you're putting yourself out there. Whether people resonate with it or they don't, that's secondary. The fact is, you're getting visibility. Even the people
Mm,
that don't connect with the show or the message, great. At least they know you exist, right? So
mhm,
that instantly positions you so much above everyone else. So the first thing is, I would say, to not only give up the need to not be liked by everyone, but to actually embrace it because it is a superpower, right? And so if you can frame that by taking that pressure off by saying you are not going to be liked by everyone, and that is great. Well, now you can actually open yourself up to that authentic delivery because the opposite is where everyone becomes a chameleon, right? I want to be liked by everyone. And imagine if you're doing a presentation, you're scanning the audience, you're going to see somebody with their arms crossed or they have a look on their face that shows disinterest. People try to adjust their style to try to win them over, and then they lose the connection with the rest of the audience. And it's very counterproductive.
but I guess the question is, how do we, so if we have that realization, that
Hmm.
insight, so people are listening to this, they're watching this, say, okay, maybe I mean I know, or maybe they've heard me say you need to, I've met with Marshall before, and I
Hmm.
know I need to put myself out there. Everyone's talking about reels, everyone's talking about video. You got to get out there. Everyone's got to post more authentically as opposed to just more in more stories, more
Right.
storytelling, right? I don't know. I don't know what to do. Like, how do we get past? It's a good thing to know, right? We talked about this before we got on. It's one thing about learning, now it's implementing.
Right. Yeah. I mean, so what we're looking at doing, there's a couple things. So you're right. Awareness is one key component. I would say that there's awareness is number one of the what's holding you back or what do you need to do. And then two is finding a compelling reason as to why. I feel that comfort is a big thing. If you don't absolutely like the most challenging clients that I have are typically ones that are quite successful because there's not any. But if they're struggling and they have to, well, now you have major urgency. And
Hmm.
so I would say it's awareness and then connect with your why, as we were talking about previously too. Your why, what's the urgency? What are you going to get from it? Because then that reinforces it. But then three is I would just start off with a micro commitment, something that's small just to get the momentum. Momentum is the biggest part. Once you have that momentum going, it's easier to build. But I find that often people get so excited and then they overcommit and then maybe they do it for a few days and then it drops off.
Yeah. Yeah. No, well, January 1st, New Year's resolutions,
Yeah, right,
personal or business, right? That's what
right.
happens.
Yes.
I can't tell you how many day timers I have that
Hmm.
I bought for January 1st. And I started using it and it's like, oh, or gym passes. Now I'm
Right.
good. Now I'm good.
Yes.
But it took like, honestly, it took like 30 years.
Yeah.
Like people are say, what did he just say? It took me about 30 years. Imagine, just say, let's stop. Okay. When I first moved to Vancouver, I joined one of the big chains, Fitness World. Everyone knows the Vancouver Fitness
Oh
World.
yeah.
I did it for off and on for about a year, right? And then I slowly went. Life happened, whatever, moved here, moved there, whatever life happened. Go fast forward to 2000s, had kids, okay, whatever, did all the stuff. I wasn't going to the gym. It took me from 19, okay, I'm gonna age myself now. 1994, sorry, 1991, I was good. Actually, 1990, 1989, sorry, 1989 to 90, 91, maybe I was okay, I was good. But then I stopped. Actually, that's more than 30 years. Okay, 36, I started 2 years, 34 years. It
Okay.
took me to actually start consistently implementing going to the gym. Imagine, I'm talking to the listeners now. 34 years, don't wait 34 years. It's a long time.
Yeah.
I just look back and I don't have the regrets.
Right.
I just know, and I don't want to even think about it. But what if I had actually remained consistent? Not even, maybe even just twice a week, once a
Hmm.
week,
Right.
34 years ago, where I would be now. Let's translate that into our business or into
Hmm.
anything else. If we
Hmm.
had just, there's no better day to start. I'm looking at that amazing picture you have behind you, the painting you have behind you. Okay. They say the best, the quote, the best time to have planted a tree was 20 years ago or 30 years ago.
Right.
The second best day time is now.
Right.
Go to the gym now. Plant that seed now and nurture it, water it, keep doing it. Sorry, I went off on a little tangent there.
Well, yeah, and I'm curious, Marshall, for you. I mean, what changed recently to make it a habit?
It's a great question. I think for me, it was enough is enough.
Mm.
It's like I didn't think about it at the time, 34 years. I mean, I did other stuff. It's not like I was doing nothing, but like I played hockey for a while until my kids were born. I did this, whatever. It's not like I was sitting on my butt all the time. But I think it was the point was I was getting older and I knew, well, you know what it was? Getting older.
Mm.
That was it, right? Subconsciously, now that you ask me that question, there were people that were like 5, 10 years younger than me that I was seeing that were passing away or having heart attacks and some passing away or cancer and all this. And it's like you, as you get older, it's like, because when you're in your 20s, it's like, I got this, whatever. Into your 50s or even 40s, you start your mortality, you're looking at yourself in the mirror. And I think that is what started for me to resonate a little bit more. Um, because I still don't believe like I'm turning a big number next year.
Okay.
Um,
40? You're turning 40 next year?
I'm turning 40 next year.
Okay.
It's a bigger number.
Okay.
And I still, to me, it's just a number.
Mm.
But um, I think that was it. I think it was just that it was, I guess it was a little bit out of fear of if I don't. If I don't start and be consistent, I've already wasted 34 years of not doing it. So that's done. I can't change the past, but I can change the future. And it doesn't have to be, and honestly, I do it my way. And I never used to enjoy going to the gym. Now I have a gym that I go to that I enjoy. And actually, I've positioned it that there's a pool there, there's a hot tub there, there's the sauna there. So I do the gym, and my reward is going downstairs and doing the pool and the sauna and all that stuff. And that is actually probably for my business. That has been one of the probably most successful strategies that I've implemented. Because now I'm feeling good physically, doing
Hmm.
the exercising, and now I'm actually doing the swimming, and now I'm in that hot tub and I'm calm, and that's where my ideas come.
Right. Which that happens quite a bit.
Yeah, because you
When you
slow
do.
down,
Yeah. Yes.
right? So, but so many people just like it's frustrating, right? You just see like just start, just get out there and just start. But there's more to it than just start.
Yeah, exactly. The common advice of it's good. It's like I think we're in a world now that people know that exercise is going to be good for them. You're like that's no mystery. But then why is it that every year it's a huge issue, right?
It's the why, but
Yeah.
right, this feels like a therapy, a coaching session for me.
Yeah, yeah.
But seriously, but that's what it is. It comes back down to the why, and that's what I say to my clients. If you don't put yourself out there, so
Hmm.
I'm dealing with business owners, entrepreneurs, business owners, leaders. Um, so leaders in corporations, people who want to become a leader, if they're listening to this, and these primarily like you're working with a lot of these people want to grow in their
Hmm.
leadership or get to the next level, or people in business. If you want to grow, if you want to be seen, or no, I shouldn't say that. Forget that. Scrap that. Because some of them subconsciously don't want to be seen, right? In
Right. Right.
but if you want to grow, you want to get to the next level, we have to put ourselves out there.
Absolutely. Well, and you raise a good point too about the visibility and being seen as a leader. So even if you're a business owner, what I find business owner, I mean, by extension, it could go to leader, but you mentioned video specifically and putting yourself out there. So let's keep it to that. For most people, it's interesting. They know they need to put themselves out there. They know it'd be good for their business. That's not any mystery. And I used to run a course for a local real estate board here in the Lower Mainland, and it was amazing. I would do a poll. It was about doing video, and I would do a poll every session. And I did the session about 10 times consistently. Half the people had never done a video, right? So the poll cumulatively, it's over 1,000 people. Half of them had never done a video. Probably 30 some odd percent do one video a month, which
Mm.
is not enough to even register. And then maybe, I don't know my percentages now, but we're about like 7% would do it once a week. And then there'd be like, 1 to 3% that would do it daily. And the thing is, though, it's funny because they would say, well, I will put myself out there when I'm a leader in the industry. It's like, no, how do you become the leader in the industry? You put yourself out there, right? And
Yeah.
and that's the rub. That's the chicken and the egg.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's you got to do the work first. I remember I became a leadership coach back in 2011, 2012 actually. With the I don't know if you're familiar with John Maxwell,
Yep.
um, and someone during he said this during one of his talks there at the um, big leadership summit when we all gathered together. And he said, because he had back then, he's now at about like book number 102 he's published. But
Right.
back then it was like 75 books or so. And he said, John, I want to be just like you. And he goes, you really, you want to be just like me? He goes, yeah. He says, well, if you want to be just like me, then you've got to do exactly what I've done. You have to write 75 books. You have to do this. 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 You have to do this if you want to be just like me.
Right.
So people want want.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. And the thing is, I mean, they want what's being celebrated publicly, but they don't want to do what's done in the shadows.
yeah,
Right. Yeah.
yeah. I always say, and my kids always say, I don't get it. It makes no sense. Leadership, my definition of leadership is the things that you are doing when you do not think anyone else is watching, of what real leadership is.
Absolutely.
So that's like what I was taught from one of my early managers in my career. Be the first person in the room before everyone else. Set for a meeting. Set up the chairs. People don't have to see you. You don't have to wait for someone to ask you. Just do it.
Right.
If there's handouts. Do the handouts. Stay late. Put the chairs away. Clean up the room. These kinds of things. What you're
Mhm.
doing behind the scenes. That's where real leadership is. It's like Olympic athletes. All we see is them on the podium.
Mhm.
What we don't see is them up at 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. 7 days a week training for years and years and years, right? For that 8 seconds or that minute and a half
Absolutely.
every 4 years. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. And
So,
it's one of those things too. I mean, even with the you mentioned earlier the entrepreneurial journey as well. I mean, so I've been in business 15 years, but I think the first 5 years, it's just to see is this thing a pipe dream? Because my path, if I was buying a franchise, then it'd be a different story where this is the system, this is what you need to do.
yep.
But in my journey, and I'm sure your journey too, it's you got to figure it out as you go.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. So how have you figured it out? What do you do? Two questions. We'll go that way. How have you figured it out? Or have you figured it out?
Right now, I will say that I have figured it out to the best of my abilities. I mean,
Okay.
there's always things that can be improved, but if I look at big milestones of how far I've come, I think how I've done it is two things. And I had come back to the why. I don't know if it's a delusional level of, I wouldn't say confidence because I was nervous as hell, but it was more a delusional understanding of I can make this work. I believed
Mm,
that I could figure it out. And the other part too is willing to fail and make mistakes. And so and I think that if you go back to it too, not that this is going to be a therapy session for me over here, but I was in a business startup program when I was starting the business. I was unemployed at the time. So after my mental health challenges and I was unemployed for a period of time. And part of it, I joined this career exploration program. And that's where I was first encouraged to, hey, you should pursue this anxiety, nerves, panic attack business. You seem very interested in. And I said, well, it is close to me. So I got into this business startup and we had to get our plan, we build it up, and then we had to present to these five local business leaders, and they would give you feedback on your idea and push you to the next level. And so in this meeting, and it was interesting because the one thing they said is do not argue. Like whatever happens, don't argue, don't get combative. And that's my natural default too. So that was very interesting. I was like, okay. So I go there and it was interesting because they were just tearing the idea apart and it was conflicting sides and there was some merit to it as well. I will say that, but it was, this is mental health and then this is about corporate work and these are two different markets and they're completely different. But instead of there was either you get pushed to the next round, they give you feedback on what to improve, or you can redo it. And they're like, or they just kick you out of the program. And I'm driving home after the meeting, and the head of the program calls me. He's like, I'm at a loss. He's like, they decided to kick you out. And we've had over 1,000 people through this program. We've had less than 10 kicked out, and they got kicked out because it was like a scam product or whatever. He's like, I don't know what to say, but we have to part ways. And I remember I was very devastated that day. And even my mom, I told her, and she's like, these are professionals. Like, you should just give up. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, I'm not gonna, that's their opinions. I'm not gonna give up. And I doubled down. I'm like, I have my laptop, I have an internet connection, and I can put myself out there. So I'm the only person that can stop me from moving forward. They can kick me out, take away the funding, take away the mentorship. But that was a real turning point where I'm like, okay, well, this isn't over until I give up, and I'm not going to give up.
mm.
And so I think that had a bit of a chip on my shoulder, definitely to prove that I could make this work. And then the other part is, I mean, for years, it's do an event, training, try a new variable. Did it work? Did it not work? What would I change? And then you just keep doing it. And then, month after month after month, you start refining a process that works.
Interesting, and I want to acknowledge you for that, for what it's worth, because a lot of people would just run home, order a pizza or some
Yeah.
Doritos,
Right.
and just sit on the couch and just whatever, feel sorry for themselves and stuff and not do anything. And now you can still do that. Don't get me
Yes.
wrong.
Sure.
And then you wake up the next morning, it's like enough of this crap, and you just clean up. And you say, "Now I'm getting, giddy up. It's go time." But a lot of other people wouldn't. They just continue down that rabbit hole and
Mm.
quit.
Yeah, and actually, there's one part of the story that I now you reminded me of is so that happened. There's a couple key dates that my birthday is May 14th and I was turning 30. This happened on May 12th, and May 13th there was this ticket that I bought because I was getting into the mental health space called the Courage to Come Back Awards, put on by
Hmm.
Coast Mental Health, and it was $250. And I was like, and that was a lot of money for me at the time. Like, wow, that was like how much for this? But I'm like, I'm gonna go. I'll probably network. It could be good for business, so it made sense. And so I got kicked out the 12th and I went to the event on the 13th. And I was in this event and they would bring up these speakers and stories of people that had overcome tremendous obstacles in their life, severe mental health challenges, abuse, this, and they'd rebuilt and they'd been successful. And I sat there and I did feel down and upset and I was going through all the emotions. But when I saw all this evidence of people that had gone through adversity exponentially more difficult than
Hmm.
what I'm having, it just gave me a perspective shift. And I'm like, okay, well, these five people don't agree with it. Actually, one individual reached out to me after, and he said one of them, and he didn't need to, and he said, "Hey, I disagree with their decision to kick you out, and if you, I'd love to meet for coffee if you're open." And I did, and I met with him, and I got kicked out of a program at Douglas College, Coquitlam, and then I ended up getting accepted into the Douglas College New Westminster
Oh,
program. So the world has, but it was that event and that perspective shift that I look back and going, this is
yeah,
nothing.
yeah. So that, if you want to call it failure,
Right.
right? That ex life experience actually helped propel you to where you are today,
Absolutely.
to a certain degree,
Oh yeah, absolutely.
right? Like Tony Robbins says, if he had had the mother he had had, he would never become the person that he has become.
Hmm.
Sorry, you know what I meant by that.
I know.
If he had, yeah, well, I have to say it so because other people don't know what I'm saying. If he had had the mother that he had wanted, because his mother was not very kind to him, there was abuse and just everything, verbal and everything. If he had had the mother that he had wanted, he wouldn't have become the man he is today.
Absolutely.
And he thanks her every day for that, right? And he's close with her and whatnot, but he thanks her because he learned what not to do and in spite of. And there are other people. So when like Ben Affleck, never saw the movie. Ben Affleck, his famous quote from the Oscars when he won for Argo, best actor for Argo, he said, "In life you're going to get knocked down, but you got to get up." And too many people just don't get up,
Yeah.
or in this case, don't level up.
Yes. I like that.
Ah, you like that?
Well,
So,
and it is a good point though, because it's bringing it back almost full circle to it, where it's how much weight are you putting in other people's opinions? I mean, these are
yeah,
five individuals. This isn't a compilation of all the business owners in Canada that are giving advice. It's five people, and
yeah,
maybe it was a 3-2, maybe it was a 4-1, maybe it was a 5-0 vote. I don't know, but
yeah.
it's like, and the thing is too is even with these business owners you're talking about earlier. I mean, how much power are you going to give to a potential negative comment to stop yourself from growing your business? Somebody may or may not say something bad about you.
Lucas, I say bring it on.
Yeah, right.
I'm serious. Like I tell
Yeah.
people, if you are not getting the odd negative comment or pushback, then you're not putting yourself out there enough.
Hmm.
If you're
Hmm.
not getting the no's, that's the other part. If you're not getting the no's, because that's a huge thing. People are like, oh my God, someone said no to me. If you're not getting the no's, I'm telling you, you're not getting the yeses,
Absolutely.
right? Yes lives in the land of no.
Right.
Right. So even and I talked about this recently on the podcast. I posted a couple weeks back. It was 2 weeks back, 2 weeks back, and a very authentic post. It was 100% my words, and someone in my Facebook group went out there with a fake name, but I know who it was, said, and she might be watching this, and I've mentioned this a few times. I will not mention your name though. She said, while I appreciate your comments and your feedback or your viewpoint or whatever it was, this screams 100% AI.
Oh,
Okay, so in that moment, I could like change it and like, well, first of all, it was 100% me. So there was no, even so if
right.
it was AI, so let's say it was AI,
Yeah.
because it wasn't. So, and I wasn't defensive saying, no, I just said, okay, I appreciate your thing. I have used AI in the past, 100% for sure, but this is 100% me. And the backlash against her got so bad because everyone was like, what, first of all, this is, sounds pretty authentic. And even
Mhm.
if it is not, even if it is AI, who cares? Marshall delivers a lot of value, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, she ended up deleting all the comments. So no one can see it anymore. But if it was AI, I had a choice. Do I like shrivel and say, "Oh my God, one person said I should,"
Right.
she's a marketing person too, so she should know better.
Right.
One person said this, I better stop. Or do I keep going? Now, unless you're really honestly hurting someone,
Mhm.
that's a different story. Okay. But we do need, like, yeah, people just hold back for too many reasons. And there are going to be naysayers out there. There's going to be people who um, might like, so honest, look, you got people are watching, you got some cool hair going. Okay.
Thank
You got a good
you.
hair, right? I'm into the hair
Right.
thing. Like, okay, good.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Some people might say, same thing with me. I'm just picking on the hair. What's
Yeah.
up with the hair? This
Yeah.
dude. So are you gonna like not put your video out there? But now people have to. Now
Yeah.
people are gonna go to YouTube to try to check out what's Marshall talking about, right? Like we cannot control what other people do or what other people say.
Right.
But if something's in line with our why, in line with our values, if we could also, the other part of it is like, for example, for you putting yourself out there and leveling up, you're doing it because you're helping others. If you don't
Mhm.
put yourself out there, no one's going to know about you. And there are going to be people out there that go through what you've gone through or hide in their job and are never seen.
Mhm.
And that's sad. So we have a responsibility. Everyone listening who's in business has a responsibility. I'm going to go back to your company name to level up with
Mhm.
themselves so that they are seen and other people can come find them, connect with them, and maybe help them.
Absolutely.
Right? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
Continue.
cool. Well, I was just say it's a really good point because I do think that there's a lot of people, a lot of my clients, they'll say that they don't even know this type of service exists, or they go to Toastmasters, which is, very well known,
Yep.
global.
Yep.
They're like, yeah, I did Toastmasters, but it's not helping me from the nerves or they're struggling with imposter syndrome, or I don't feel good enough, and it's just not designed for that. And
Yeah.
so a lot of times people are like, I didn't even know this existed. Okay, great. And that's an issue on my end. I got to be more outgoing and getting more visibility.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, okay. Two things to finish up. One more golden nugget for our listeners. And how can people get in touch with you? I'll put your stuff in the show notes, but what's the best way to get in touch with you? But first, a golden nugget for our listeners.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first one that we mentioned previously was about embracing polarity, right? That you won't be liked by everyone. And when you can observe that and embrace it, that is something that sets you out. It gives the space for you to seize opportunities. That's the
Okay.
first one.
Okay.
And then the second one is then when you are putting yourself out there, I use a analogy called like the ice cream technique. And so what is just imagine you go to an ice cream shop. Do you love every flavor equally? No. There's gonna be some you like, some you don't like, some you're indifferent to.
Mhm.
And for a business owner, to look at it and say, well, what flavor am I in this ice cream shop? What is my flavor? And that's what gives you the power to start thinking about your personal brand and how you want to come across and what are
Mm.
the characteristics. So if you can, a lot of times when people can wrap themselves around the analogy of the ice cream is go, okay, I'm a flavor. There's no universal flavor that's for everyone. And then that gives them more of the permission to say, this is who I am, and then allows you to attract the right people. Because if you don't, and then the challenge is you're going to shape shift or you're going to put on a false persona online and then they meet you in person and there's a disconnect and now trust is dropped. So I would say number one is see it as an opportunity to stand out, polarize. Two, showcase your authentic flavor. And three is a biggest mistake that I see is people are so willing and they're eager to jump to their solution. And when I'm talking more from the messaging standpoint, is you got to start off with a problem and grab their attention because people are so quick to, hey, let me tell you about my thing, my product, my services. If there's no clear problem, you're just selling. So people want to buy it, but they want to solve problems.
Yeah.
So be the problem solver, right? Have your authentic style, your authentic flavor, but then also be a problem solver in your mindset. And whether that and that ties into the pieces that people I find are very excited to help others, but they're hesitant to sell.
Yes.
So show up, just switch your mindset that I'm a problem solver. Talk about problems. I'm here to help people. Take the focus off, oh, how are people going to perceive me? Am I going to mess up? Am I going to say the wrong thing? Or am I going to get it's not about you. Be of service, be a problem solver, and then talk about what you do.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Amazing.
Couldn't agree with you more. That is amazing. So, how can people get in touch with you?
Yeah, absolutely. The website levelupliving.com. That's the
Okay.
the best way to go there. And then yeah, just people go there, check out the content, book a call, and see if I offer free consultations for people to see if it's the right fit. For some people it is, for some people it isn't, but that's the best step for them to go.
That is perfect. Well, I've taken, so I always say, like, grab a pad of paper and notes, and I'm going to mention it again at the beginning of this one because this is like, I've got a whole
Oh, amazing.
couple pages of notes here. I need to get instead of flipping the page, I need to get like one of those like legal size notepads because this was awesome. This was awesome.
Amazing.
And I know this is going to resonate with a lot of our listeners because I think too many of us hide behind. And I won't even say they hide behind a camera. They won't go behind a camera, but they just hide behind their busyness, right? So thank you very much for
Oh,
your wisdom.
no, thank you for having me on.
Thank you for leveling up with us.
I appreciate it.
All right, gang, go check out Lucas and his amazing stuff at levelupliving.com, right? Correct?
Absolutely.
Levelupliving.com.
You got it.
And we'll see the rest of you next week on another episode. Oh, comment below also. Do all that stuff. Subscribe, give us a 5-star review, all that kind of stuff. But I really want to hear your feedback. Email me. It's down below, marshall@marshallstern.net. I'd love to hear your insights from this. And do you resonate with that? So that's my action step, my accountability for everyone who's listening to this. Okay. Thank you. We'll see you guys again next week on another episode of The Stern Truth, Business Unfiltered. Bye for now.
Thank you so much for tuning in to The Stern Truth. If you found today's episode helpful, we would love to hear from you. Please like, share, and leave us a review. Also, if you'd like to be a guest in an upcoming episode or join us in one of our Momentum Accountability Group sessions, simply email me to marshall@marshallstern.net. That's marshallstern.net. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Until next time, keep pushing forward and leading with confidence.